Coming to Mountain, you're watching the Uncle Mike YouTube channel. Stick around. So I've got this entire fan assembly taken apart. Where was it? Well, my GoPro died. There it is. This piece is broke off. So I'm gonna weld that back together. And then that's what the actual, it mounts in here. And then it's the rod that mounts in the bottom of the motor housing. So put that in there. I'll get this welded up. I'm gonna take all this stuff and I'm gonna go sandblast everything, and then it'll be time to prep it and reassemble it. But it's just not ideal to reuse those. There's just junk, wires falling apart. So I'm gonna rewire this stator. I'm actually not gonna pull anything really apart other than just put new ends on it, run new wiring. This stuff's all just junk, brittle, and yeah, hopefully it'll, as some gun will get after it once we're done now. Now I've got everything over here sandblasted, ready for primer. Kind of hard to tell, but it's all blasted and ready for primer. I've got all of this primed after sandblasting, primed everything. I wish I had a powder coating machine or a gun and an oven, more or less, just so I could powder coat everything. Y'all hear that? You know what it is. I got the garage airing out. I got the black coated on. I got the silver coated on. And the copper coated on. So, one more coat of black. The silver is all good and done. The copper is good and done. I used a different type of paint that I ain't never even heard of. I think it was like, I don't know, appliance paint or something. Doesn't come out as typical spray paint, so you gotta hit it again. So I'm letting this stuff dry, and then I'll hit it again. This stuff's done though. Look good too. I can't do nothing without Martha coming up here and supervising, but put this data plate back on here and we'll start final assembly on this thing. A little scary. Got the death machine here, no fan shroud on it, but just got it all wired back together. I think I'll move some air now. Pretty slick. Let's get the cage all put on. Looking good. Looking real good. do y'all think? I like it. Definitely a cool look. This thing probably uses about half the power my house uses, but she'll get on to ripping here. It's got medium and a low setting, so whatever you want it on, it'll do it. So I got this Kurt hitch here. I can install it on the van. That way I can use my hitch mounted vise when I'm on the job. So we'll get this thing thrown on real quick. Should be quick, should be easy. So it takes 0 brains to put one of these together. It's got carriage bolts, carriage bolt holder plates. You reach through these holes, you drop your bolts in. I got one left back here on the aft side. So reach up in here, find your hole, pin the bolt down, and then you put a nut on it, tighten them all up. So it's 6 bolts, 3 per side. It's drilled to fit multiple things if needed. But this gives you a 2-inch receiver. So now I can mount my doggone hitch mounted vise. So if I ever need it when I'm in the field, instead of trying to hold things in a door, get it all bound up so I can get it nice and tight to cut something, I just use my receiver hitch vise mount. Not that I intend on towing anything with the old work van, but I threw a 7-way on there just in case. You never know. I want to get froggy and see what the old 2500 will do. So I've got this furnace all apart. Just running all the wires right now. I had to replace the sail switch along with both propane valves in there. So it's fun to get to. Can't get to it from the outside. Gotta pull it out through here. So we'll button her back up and we'll move on with it. So if you have an RV, those are your propane valves. This is a regulator. It's propane feed, round block. Right here you got your air into the burner, air out of the burner. That's your igniter lead. Red's your fan power. Then what's yellow goes to your valves, brown goes to your valves, blue is a sensor. So you go right here, this goes to a thermal cutoff on the back because the fan stays running after a shutdown. So once this sensor senses that it's cool enough, it'll shut the fan off. And you heard me talk about a, what do you call it? Sail switch. Now this case is cracked, I don't know, it had all this foil tape on it when I got to it, but that's your sail switch. So when the air blows across it, it's a safety feature. The furnace won't run if it's not sensing any air moving. So if your squirrel cage blower here was something was to happen to it, or your motor was to go bad, your sail switch isn't going to sense any movement of air, so it will not allow propane to run and have a flame on something that has no moving air and overheat. Now I leak check my connections, no leaks, and I also do a leak down test